Straight Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Welcome to the Simply Straight Talk podcast. I'm Melissa, a professional voiceover artist. If you're new to our podcast, we hope you find it motivational and fun because you're in the right place. We can't wait to share what we've learned about life with you. After all, you never know what Reggie's going to say. Stick around, the show is about to start.
What it do, people? We are back. This is Simply Straight Talk. I know, it's me. Do you recognize the voice? It's been a while, hasn't it, Reggie?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
It has. I checked. The last time I was on your show was November last year.
What? Really?
Yeah. Because I gave the link. Because I told my friend I was doing this today, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know you did this." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, show me one of the episodes that you're on." And then I had to, I kept scrolling for your list of episodes, and I was like, damn, it's been since November. So what it do, people? You beautiful, beautiful, shining people. Happy days to you.
And see, now y'all can't blame me because you heard it from Angelique herself.
It's not Reggie, people. I can verify. I can testify. It has been me. Life has just been whooping that ass. Unfortunately, I'm okay to share it. But yeah, unfortunately, I've had some deaths in the family. My father passed in December, and my mum passed last year, March. So it's been 2022 has whipped my ass a little bit, Reggie. So definitely took a beating, took a spiritual beating up in here. But we move, and today's topic is exciting. So I'm excited to talk about it. Are you, Reggie?
I am very excited to talk about it. Just hope I don't get triggered.
Oh, we're all going to get triggered. We're going to get triggered. And now the listeners are like, no, but tell us, what are we going to be triggered by? Well, dear listener, today's episode is about toxic femininity and how it affects men. What is this I hear you say, listener? Well, it's kind of about women who maybe are overly aggressive, overly independent to the point of alienating like their male partners, and how it's become a bit of a trend where women are in such this need to be independent, and anything you can do, I can do better energy that's causing a bit of alienation, a bit of there's now becoming a bit of a battle of the sexes, So yeah, well, we're gonna talk about that, and Reggie's got a couple of audio clips that we're going to play for you beautiful listeners, and then we're going to talk about them and talk more on the subject and talk in regards to the audio clips. So Reggie, let's just go right in there. Hit me with the first audio clip.
All righty. So the first clip is going to come from a young woman by the name goes by Hey Fauna, and she's going to talk about why women don't need men.
I think women say that they don't need men, and they are absolutely right. So a lot of times you'll hear women or men complaining that women are acting like they don't need them, or men say they don't need us. And what they fail to understand is that the needs of a man are so vastly different to the needs of women that when a man says women act like they don't need a man, it's because they don't need a man for those specific needs. And unfortunately, those are the only needs that men seem to think are valid, because those are the needs to them that they need. For example, women do not need sexual validation from every man. In fact, women usually don't need sexual validation until they're actually having sex with somebody. Women don't need validation of how smart or funny or attractive they are, because by the time they've made it to the selection of men that they think that they want to date, they have already validated and vetted themselves. They have already placed themselves in a category to be able to attract a certain type of man, and they are certain that they are worth that type of man. So by the time they go on the date, there is nothing for that man to validate. The date is the validation. So I think there are so many ways where men need certain things from women that women just do not need from men. So when a man says, well, women act like they don't need us, we don't. because we don't need those things. And the things that we do need, communication, men just they just seem to think that it's not important. The things that we do need, security, self-reliance, a little razzle dazzle here and there for you not to be boring, men just don't find valuable and they don't think that they're important. So when a man says that women act like she doesn't need a man, just know that they are in agreement, because what she thinks he considers needs, she doesn't need from him.
The damn lie.
Yeah. Oh man. I'll tell you what, Reggie, you go first. Before I say my 2 pence.
Okay. This.
Calm down and triggered. I can tell you triggered. Do some deep breaths before you go, this motherfucker.
Okay. All right. First off, men's needs are not centered around sex. I think that is such a huge misconception. That our needs, as far as what we want from a woman or what we, she was saying basically like that's what men think we need. What we need from a woman is more emotional support, is more around understanding, is more about letting us be a man, but that doesn't mean us being a man means that being a man means that a woman is less than or incapable of doing things. So her whole thing was how, well, women don't need men to validate their brain, their intelligence, their sex. Okay, but that contradicts everything, because most women do want that type of validation at some point. It could be on the job, when they're working at. They want that validation. Everybody wants that type of validation.
Yeah.
So if men just stop complimenting women, don't compliment a woman at all. If you're not married to it, don't compliment her. So then what happens? So this is why men have the mindset and the attitude they have right now of, if a woman gets in trouble, don't bother, because they don't need a man. If she's struggling, no, you're independent. Do it yourself. You don't need a man.
But that's what, like I said in the intro, people, it's like when you go too far, it's like too much of anything or too little of anything is not a good thing. So too much need to prove that I'm independent, I don't need anybody, I could, like I said, anything a man could do, I can do better, is now gotten to the point where it's like you're now alienating. You're now just creating this whole, I don't need you, but at the same time you're there asking at the same time, I don't need, but give me. I don't need, but give me. It's like, but what is it you actually want here? And I agree, like when she was like, women don't need any like validation for their intelligence, their sexiness, and that by the time they've got to the date, they already know who they are. I was listening and I was thinking, Reggie, well, she's talking about some seriously confident females here. Like, and that's cool. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'll be honest, it's a human being, not male or female. It's a human being thing that we need to be validated, because it goes all the way back to the fucking Stone Ages of how we survived in like your crew of your clique of people. You want to be part, you need to be seen and validated and part of a tribe, because we're built that way. It's a human instinct survival thing to be part of the tribe, i.e. And that's now evolved to, we may not need to be like fearful of like saber-toothed tigers, but now we fear judgment and being like different from the crowd. We all want to be part of the crowd, i.e. we want to be validated and seen as okay, as beautiful, as intelligent, all of us, men and women. So to think that the women don't need validation is cuckoo bananas to me. Like, that's a human need. We all feel that in some level, in some way. And
exactly.
if you're telling me that women don't, I'll be honest, can you point those special tribe of unicorn women who apparently are so confident in themselves that they don't need any sexual validation, physical validation, intelligence validation, point them out to me, because I'll be honest, we all have areas of insecurities and doubt, all of us, men and women. So that was the first thing that I felt when I listened to that. And secondly, what do you hope to gain? What I never understand, Reggie, is what do you hope to gain by telling someone who you are potentially courting as a partner, I don't need you? So then what the fuck are we on this date for then? Bitch, what am I here for? Candy? I should, like, what, but that's the thing, Reggie, when you say I don't need someone, that's cool, but then what do you want then, innit? Because as human beings, we're made to cohabitate, we're made to like I said, walk in packs, walk in tribes, live together, share memories, share moments. So then what do you want? Why are you bothering going on the date in the first place? You obviously have a need of something, hence why you're going on the date in the first place. Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like, and that's what I mean. You're now alienating me and be like, well, I don't need you for that. I don't need you for that. So what am I here for? That's what makes my mind quandary. It's like, no, your partner's not meant to be the person that does everything and anything for you, but it's meant to be about partnership, sharing, growing together, evolving together, supporting each other. It's not a power play. It's not meant to be a power play that you need me, I don't need you. It's not meant to be about power like that. But hey, maybe I'm wrong in it. Maybe I'm just confused, Reggie. You know, there's me thinking being with a guy is meant to be a partnership. Clearly, I'm out here confused. I mean, do you believe in partnership, Reggie, or is that just me?
No, I do too. I agree with you.
Jesus Christ, God damn! Like, I don't know. That's a very, it's a very combative mentality to have, is what I find.
Yeah, and if she's truly believing what she's saying, and I know this is going to spark some issues with women when I say this. So, women, if you are 100% on board with what she's saying, that means when you go out, no tight-fitting clothes, no short dresses, no makeup, no weave, no eyelashes, no fake nails. Because you are confident in who you are and you don't need validation. And some of the outfits that women wear when they go out is for validation. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah, whether it's by catching a potential mate's eye or trying to, look sexy and like you said, but then the argument to that statement, Reggie, would be, well, I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it for me. Fair enough. It makes you feel good. But then again, that's still validating. You're still validating yourself. So again, either way, whether you're seeking validation from a man or you're seeking it from yourself, we all seek validation in some way or the other. You know what I mean? And again, it's just human instinct that we would appear our most attractive self to attract a possible mate. It goes all the way back to the animal kingdom. Peacocks flaring their feathers to attract a mate. You know what I mean? Like, we all do it. Like,
yeah.
And again, if you feel like I don't need men, then why bother going on dates? Isn't it? Like, what's? But yeah, and that's what I mean, Reggie. There'll be the same people that go, "Oh, I don't need a man," but they'll be going on dates. Why are you bothering then? Why are you bothering even search for a partner? You just said you don't need one. So you're kind of contradicting yourself. Then when a woman says that I don't need men, then I'm asking them, what do you need them for? What exactly is it you think you need them for then?
And I noticed she didn't answer that.
No, she didn't. She mentioned security. She said what women need is communication and security. But again, that's what men need also. It's a myth if you think men don't need some level of security and they don't believe in communication. It's a myth. What that tells me is the men she has been interacting with don't want that. And that's the other thing. Your perspective on life is unique to you and your journey. So if you've had experiences with the men you've been interacting with don't care about security and don't believe in good communication, that's because you've had a dodgy pick of men. And the men you've been interacting with don't believe that. That doesn't mean you can cast the brush that all men are the same way, because they're not. And it's the same way you can't cast the brush on all women, because they're not.
Exactly.
That just proves to me you've had a really shitty dating experience. That's all that proves to me, to be honest. Because that's not the full dating experience that I've had. So do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, next clip, Reggie. Next clip.
Okay.
We're going to be pissing some people off today, I'm telling you. I can feel it. I can feel it in my fingers.
And I think this next one is going to be a little trigger, probably more so for women.
Oh, God.
This clip comes from the YouTube channel. It's complicated. This guy has some amazing videos where he covers both sides. And this one is about masculinity. And he's interviewing a guy to share his thoughts on masculinity and women.
Oh, Lord. Go.
So why do women complain about men being in charge when women wanted it that way? Well, women have to make a choice. If they want to be independent, it's fine. But with feminism was something that's brought up to actually isolate and destroy relationships, not necessarily to construct and build them. Traditional relationships and modern relationships are very different. You go ask a modern woman, how much does a man have to make for her to be with them? they hit a crazy, obnoxious number. Little did they know, what do they bring to the table? You usually hear silence.
When it comes to relationships, are men more likely to be held to a masculine standard than women are held to a feminine standard?
Not in this generation. Actually, it's the reverse now. You're seeing a lot of women become more masculinized and a lot of men becoming more feminized because the women have chosen a path believing they can lead. My thing is this: if women want to lead and to be independent, let's send them out to war. Let's send them out to go. Let's send them out to war. Let's send them out to build buildings and build structure and provide those things. Let's give them the dirty jobs, the plumber jobs, the electric jobs, the HVAC jobs, since they want to be so independent.
What is more unrealistic, the masculine standards placed on men or the feminine standards placed on women?
What is more unrealistic? The masculine standards placed on men.
What are those standards and who defines them?
The women, I believe, would define them in a way because a woman's standards for what they want in a man is very unrealistic. Women have been conditioned to believe that they're entitled to super, ultra, hypergamous relationships when they realize that within their dating pool, half of them don't fit that. There's what we want and then there's what we qualify for, if that makes sense.
Do women's delusional expectations require men to set delusional goals?
No, as a matter of fact, the men just adopt the men go their own way. And if you notice right now with the evolution of the passport bros, men are going to other countries to seek traditional women. I mean, yes, the fact that those women are living below certain means, the men do have an advantage of being able to provide at a better level. However, if we're getting the cooperativeness, the submissiveness, the helping him psychologically, then that's what we're going to do. Women, I believe this could be the generation. I don't mean any disrespect to any woman. This could be the generation possibly we see the most women die alone.
Why is our society pushing men to be hyper masculine while at the same time telling men that masculinity is toxic?
Because the masculinity is getting confused for controlling, getting confused for, let's see, I'm trying to think here. I'm not perfect. I'm just stating what I believe. Because I believe we're at a time where women feel like men should be beneath. But if a man should be beneath, the woman is not able to handle the duties of a man. So we need to understand what position that we're taking.
Why do women often attack a man's masculinity when they don't get what they want?
Because a woman does not like to feel like a man. A woman likes to feel like they deserve what they want, how they want. A woman feels, for example, you see young modern women today define themselves as a baddie. I have this, I have that. I bring this to the table. They usually identify what they bring to the table sexually. But what we're talking about morally, spiritually, psychologically, even some senses physically. Like a man, for example, wouldn't want to be with a woman that can't cook. But a woman wouldn't want to be with a man that can't provide. So a man can provide. If a woman can't do the mere duty of cooking and cleaning, why is his manhood being attacked when he's already fulfilling his obligations?
Oh my God.
I see.
I'm trying really hard to breathe right now, Reggie.
I told you
because that whole conversation was just as toxic as the first clip you played. I'll be honest with you, but for just opposite reasons now. I'm gonna be honest. Both clips, all I really hear at the end of the day is a lot of ego. There's a lot of ego at play here. I just that. I mean, that was quite a long clip, and I'm trying to remember everything he said. Oh God, yeah. I feel like I need to breathe. What I will say is, in either clip, I didn't hear no mention of partnership. I didn't hear no mention of give and take. I didn't hear no mention of compromise. I didn't hear no mention of listening to one another, having empathy for one another, compassion for one another. It was just about control and ego and power. It was like a loss of power. Oh, well, if women want to do it, go on then. You think you can run these things? Go ahead. See what you do without us. And then women are like, well, I don't need you. I don't need you. Just bare ego. So much ego. And what people don't realize is when you're so full in your ego, that really is to cover up a lot of pain and insecurity. Because when you are truly kind of like at peace with yourself as much as you can be, you can at least be open to listening and understanding someone else's perspective, i.e. your partner, your male counterpart, your female counterpart. But when you're so much in your ego that you're like, I don't need you, or forget you, I'm going to go to another country and find a woman who can cook, or forget you, I don't need you, I can do for myself. It just sounds like a lot of ego being fronted to cover up a lot of hurt feelings. and no one's listening or talking to each other from an open perspective. That's what I really feel from all of that. If that guy truly does believe that, because I didn't like hearing the word like it's a woman's duty to cook and da-da-da-da. Why is it not just a human being's duty to learn how to fend for yourself? Why is it? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Being someone who's British born but of Caribbean descent, my dad was Jamaican, right? In Jamaica, generally, both men and women can cook, right? So again, and there's no ego about, oh, it's a woman's place to cook. It's deemed lesser. Oh, it's too feminine. Men shouldn't be in the kitchen. It's a basic survival requirement to feed yourself. What the hell has that got to do with male or female? To be able to fend for yourself. Why is it now only one sex or the other sex that should be doing it? Things like that, just what I mean. Like, I'm used to the idea of partnership. We both cook. We live in this house together, so we take it in turns to cook. We both live here. We both take it in turns to clean. We both live here. We'll split the bills. We both live here. Do you see what I mean? That's the perspective that me and my partner take. There's no ego of, well, and I want to make something clear. It takes different types of relationships. It takes all sorts to make the world go around, right? So now that might be the way that me and my partner do things. There are some people that genuinely like that the woman is the home taker and looks after the house while the man goes off and works. And if that genuinely works for them and they are genuinely happy in their roles, fair enough, more power to you, innit? But it's like this idea that there's only one way, one size fits all, that women should only be in the kitchen and men should only be out there providing. When actually there's some relationships where they're perfectly happy to do the reverse, or they're perfectly happy to do split of equal. There's no wrong or right way to make a relationship, just one that at least where you're both being empathetic and considerate of the other person and who they are. But I just heard a lot of power and ego and control. It just winds me up, to be honest. That's what I heard from both of them. What about you? That clip would definitely piss off women. But just as equally as the first clip would piss off men, innit? So
exactly. He said some things I agree with, and then there were some things I don't agree with. When he mentioned the part about women should go out and build buildings and work in sewers, there are women that do that. That's
another thing I was saying. Yeah,
it's just not a large. It's just more men occupying those fields. So, and I get what he's trying to say, but women are capable of doing that. There are women actually in construction right now. They're working in those fields. They're just
electricians, plumbers, all of that.
Exactly. It's just more male-dominated fields because more women are going into stuff like nursing, stuff like that. So nothing wrong with that. So I think he was wrong to make that
very
point.
much so. Yeah.
The other thing was he was talking about men and women, like women cooking. Now, I sort of understand where well, I don't want to say that because I don't know his complete mindset. Just based on here in the United States, what's being said is women now are feeling like they don't have to know how to cook. Like they won't cook. Like even if a man is paying all the bills and taking care of everything, there are some women who are saying, well, I don't need to know how to cook because we got Uber Eats, we got restaurants. So I agree with you, Angelique. That should be a 50-50 thing.
It's a basic survival for a human being. Learn how to feed yourself, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. If you're a multi-millionaire, Reggie, and you can afford to hire a chef, then more power to you, innit? But we're talking about the average Joe here, yeah? The average Joe and average Jane. Is it not a basic survival requirement to learn how to feed yourself and not be burning off money on takeaway all the time?
Exactly.
That's why I said, for me, I don't give a shit if you're a man or woman. Learn how to feed yourself. It's a basic requirement as a human being to survive as an adult.
Yeah. And if you're in a relationship with somebody, okay, if me and Regina Hall,
yes, darling,
y'all know that's my baby. If we're living together, we're married. If I know she's out, she's making movies, and she's coming back home, why would I be like, oh, okay, well, you want to go out to eat, or are you cooking? Why can't I prep food? Why can't I be able to make dinner for her? And even if you're just like an average home, if the husband is coming home late, you get whoever gets home first, husband or wife, take the responsibility to make sure there's food. Exactly. It shouldn't be, oh, I can't cook until he gets home or until she gets home. No, it's a partnership.
Exactly. That's what me and James do. If I've been out all day and he's been home for most of it, he'll cook. If he's been out
Mhm.
working late, I'll cook. It's just, but this is what I mean, Reggie. It's about consideration. You are my partner. As far how I've always visualized relationship is two individuals in a boat, right?
Mhm.
And we paddle together at the same pace as much as we can to keep this shit moving forward. Now, if one of us drops the oars, we're just gonna be paddling around in circles because only one of us is paddling.
See?
So you know what I mean? And I don't mind that sometimes occasionally maybe the other one is going through things in life and they're not at their best, so you got to take up the slack a little bit to help keep things moving. But eventually, you know what I mean, and while you're supporting that person to get themselves back to their full strength, but eventually you go back to both equally paddling. That's what it should be. Like, and this is what I mean, I hear ego. I'm a man, I shouldn't be cooking. She should be cooking. Well, I'm sick and tired of being the one that cooks. He thinks that all he can do is just come home and I'm going to have the food for him. Bare ego.
That's
Very
it.
just loads of ego is what I'm hearing. And it's like, I've heard a saying that I do my best and I try my best to live by in my relationships, whether that's with James or with my friends. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Because a lot of the times we in our arguments, we're hammering because we want to be the one that's right. I want to be right. I want to be right. Do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Do you want to try and get along and make things work and compromise? Because it's going to take compromise. Or do you just want to always want to be right? You can't have both, unfortunately. In a relationship, because you know why? Human beings are complex. Do you want to be living in your ego or do you want to try be working together? It's one of the two. You got to make a choice. But yeah,
You
like
have to.
his comment about, oh, let's send women out to war. I do believe we've had female soldiers for a very long time. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I do believe, but like I said, but because those industries are generally male dominated, it's taken a while to change mindsets and perspectives that, oh, women can do this job. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. That's why it's taken so long. It's a certain but it's the same as nursing. Generally, it's a more female-dominated industry. So we do have male nurses, but generally, it's a female-dominated industry, and it's taking mindsets to realize, oh no, men can also be just as nurturing as women. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's all it is. That's the only reason why those general certain industries aren't as equally split, because we have to change old mindsets towards it.
Very well said.
Anyway, next clip. God damn it. I'm gonna be triggered by the end of this, Reggie. I'm like, I need a punching bag.
So the next one comes up is Hey Fana with
Again.
with a repeat performance. So let's hear her
Okay.
second audio.
Lord.
So I just want to say, if you're on this channel, just know that I'm super new to TikTok. So if I don't respond to comments or if I'm not engaged, please do not take it personally, but definitely, leave discourse in the comments and I'm happy to hear whatever you have to say. One thing I've noticed, especially on the internet, is that there are typically a lot of men who get triggered when women start talking about their feelings when it comes to dating. And it's not surprising that men get triggered when feelings are brought up or emotions are brought up. But in order to really understand the point I'm about to make, you have to have empathy. So if you don't have empathy, this is going to go over your head. So you can go ahead and just stop watching right now. The reason women are coming across in this day and age as more masculine or embracing a more masculine energy or even displaying a more masculine energy is based on this quote that I heard recently. Somebody said, women are taught to be perfect and men are taught to be brave. We are now in a society where women are far more brave than men when it comes to a lot of situations, and especially ones related to our social interactions. Women are incredibly brave. Women are assertive. Women are becoming more aggressive. Women are taking up spaces. They're using their voices, and they are not taking no for an answer. They are persistent. They are persisting, and they are heading into brand new territories, male-dominated territories, all the time, every day. The level of bravery I see coming from women, our community, Black women, women of color, anybody breaking down barriers is absolutely astounding, and for me, something I find incredibly inspiring. When you think about how closely tied bravery and masculinity are in society, it is very easy to see why men think women are coming across as being more masculine. But at the end of the day, we are being fearless and standing in our truths and really just stepping forward. And that kind of bravery has always been relegated to men. I am one of those women who tends to notice a lack of bravery in men. And I'm not talking about going out fighting battles. I'm not talking about physical war. I'm not even talking about warfare or wartime. Not talking about anything military related. I'm talking about the strength and courage it takes to do everyday things, such as communicate properly, not ghost people, cancel dates when you need to, speak up about your needs and wants in the moment without having to talk behind somebody's back. Just regular, normal social behavior that I consider as brave, I find that a lot of men are shying away from, and women are the ones who are taking up that mantle. So I think that in this day and age, if women are coming across quote unquote like men or masculine, it's because they're exhibiting a level of bravery that really men haven't done in quite some time.
I will let you go first. I went first. We'll take it in turns. So your turn to go first.
Okay.
Breathe.
I'm trying to clear the first thoughts that's coming out of my head because it's not very nice.
A whole bunch of cuss words in it.
Yes. I want to call her out her name right now. First off, I take a serious issue. Oh God, I'm trying not to come off wrong with this. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Oftentimes, when it comes to black men and black women, there is this huge separation as if black men have not experienced what black women are sort of just coming to realize what it's like stepping out into the world and trying to get into some of these spaces. So this is not new. This is not new. Black men have been doing this from the beginning. Like black men have always tried to get inside of the corporate world to provide for their wife, do for their wife, things that they saw the other races being able to do, buy cars, bring necklaces and dresses and homes and stuff for their wives. Black men were at the bottom of the pole trying to get in that, get at the table just to be able to do for their wives. So that same frustration that black women say they are feeling now, black men have always felt this frustration, and both sides are still dealing with this frustration. Black women are probably just getting more of the frustration now because now they're fully getting into what black men have always been getting involved in. So it's to come and say that. Let me get off that because that's going to send me into a tangent. But to say that men are not brave and to see more women are braver than men, you got to come to understand that sometimes when you're focused on one thing, that's all you're going to see despite what else is out there. So you cannot say that you're seeing more braver women than men. And we also, no offense, women, we are living in an anti-man society right now. So anything a woman does is being pushed to the spotlight, especially by mainstream media. Because let's be honest, the biggest buyers and purchasers in the world is women. That is why when you go to the clothing stores, what's the biggest clothing section? Women. Most products, women. Commercials are catered towards women. Anything that will make women buy, that's what they are going to sell. And when you talk about men not communicating, you got to realize something. When you talk about communication, and Angelique, I think you hit it right on the head, that she's dealt, whatever her dating pool is, she has a problem with her dating pool. But she also needs to take a look at herself because something is attracting that.
Yeah.
But it's something about her too that may be convincing men or something telling men, I can't communicate with you. Because if a man tries to open up and show his vulnerabilities, remember, anytime a man cries, he's weak. He expresses too much, you're soft. If a man comes home and says, you know what, I'm just overwhelmed, I don't know how we're going to fix this. Oh, you're supposed to be a man. I want to marry a man. I want somebody that's a provider, a strong. You can't come in here with this weakness. he's not going to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, they would cause anyone to shut down.
Exactly. And that's why many men do internalize their problems. They do not voice them because if we love a woman, we don't want to come across as weak to her because we want her respect. We want her admiration because that's the woman we love. We want to be able to do for her because we know if we can't provide, somebody else will come in and try to snatch her away. So that is a big thing for us. But it doesn't mean that we're not brave, because when we are brave by being vulnerable, you label it as a weakness. Let me pass this to Angelique because I can feel something about to come out.
Swear words are about to be released.
Yes.
Oh God. Like, so as with all the bloody audio we've listened to so far, it's multi-layered, isn't it, really? As a female, I'm very glad that we're seeing more females, you know what I mean, pioneering industries, like she said, not taking no for an answer, really putting themselves forth. I'm all for it. Yeah. And but what I don't understand is, why does it have to be at the detriment of now pushing men to the side or now disparaging men? I get it. In the earlier decades, women had to fight for their rights to vote, to do things, but we were fighting to be seen as equal, not to then now be seen as better than, and men are less than.
Oh my
That's
God, great
that's
point.
not what it's not what it was about.
Great
It was
point.
always about equality. They just wanted a seat at the table as much as men did. They wanted their voice to be heard just as much as men's voices were heard. But now it's become this thing of, oh, look at me, I'm so much braver than you. What do you bring to the table? Why are we now being just as ignorant? Like, it's not about that's like saying, you know, fight fire with fire. No, because what happens is that everyone burns. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
No, we put the fire out and then we try to have a conversation. And that's what I feel like is happening now. It's like, we're in such a strive to be independent that, like I said, it's now veering off into alienating people. Look at my independence. Look how I'm out here pioneering. Look at me. You ain't shit. Why does it have to be about that? Can't it just be about, oh, I finally made it. I'm so proud of myself. Let's bring more sisters on. Let's also bring the men. Let's co-create. Let's collaborate. Why can it not be about that? Why does it have to be about one has more power than the other? One is more better than the other. One is like, why? Where's the equality? I thought that's what we were striving for. My bad. Did I not get the memo? Was that all just a front? Was that a fake campaign? You were just pulling me in so you can get my votes? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, both men and women need, again, I'll stress this, both men and women both need communication, people. You know what I mean? And yeah, maybe there's women feel more safer to speak on their feelings because maybe we've been deemed as the more emotional sex. But men need to speak on their feelings just as much. We all do. We all need to be heard, men and women. We all want our partners to support each other. We all want to be respected and heard when we're being vulnerable. Because like you said, whether it's a man or woman who's being vulnerable in a relationship, it takes bravery to be vulnerable, regardless whether you're male or female. And there's nothing worse than your partner tearing you down or mocking you in your moment of vulnerability.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. That's never, like, your partner, your friends should be safe spaces for you to go, I don't know what I'm doing. Because I hate to break it to you, just because he's a man doesn't mean he has it all figured out, right? And just because she's a woman doesn't mean she's naturally nurturing do you know what I mean? And going to be a great mother. We all have our insecurities. We all have our things that we are working on within ourselves. And there's nothing worse than bringing your insecurities or your scars and your wounds to your partner and then mocking you for it, or not respecting you, or do you know what I mean? Supporting you and saying, well done. I see you. I love you regardless. Let's work together. So whilst I understand and I agree that, yeah, it's great. Women are out here pioneering. I'm cheering them women on as much as, but not at the cost of now making out like men ain't shit. That's not what it should be about. That's the part that baffles me. Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't Why can't it be, go on with your bad self, women? Go and pioneer, yes. And the men equally celebrate them, and we continue to celebrate men. Why can't it be a co-collaborative space?
Exactly. We celebrate each other.
That's what I mean. Like, why does it have to be, oh, look how much better we are than you. You men ain't doing shit. When's the last time you pioneered? Never. Look at me. Again, like I said before, all I hear is ego, you know. Ego. I hear bare ego driving the ship here. Oh, what have you done for me lately? What is this? Why is now relationships being boiled down to a transactional thing? It's very transactional relationships seem to be coming. And I agree with you lastly about, again, maybe she's had these experiences with men because of her dating pool. And I agree with you, Reggie. I hate to break it to you, but everything begins and starts with ourselves. So when you start noticing a common pattern, the common denominator is you, my dear. Do you know what I mean? And you have to take the time. We all need to do that. Men and women take the time to really look at ourselves and think, okay, what am I putting out there? What is it that I'm doing that I'm attracting certain circumstances and certain relationships? Because life is but a mirror for what you see and believe on the inside. I hate to break it to you. It's the hardest pill to swallow as an adult, to take responsibility for your own strengths and your own weaknesses, and how that is then reflected in the world around you and relationships. Hardest thing you can do. But unless you're taught to do that, you are going to be pointing the finger of doom at men.
Thank you.
You know, and men do it as well. Bitches ain't shit. Women ain't shit. Maybe it's because the women you met ain't shit. And also, what does that say about you, my dude? Because you out here with the ain't shit people, that must mean you ain't shit either. So maybe you need to figure out how to become the shit. I don't know.
Because that's true. Like, men and women have to stop bashing each other because it's getting us nowhere.
It's getting us nowhere. Look at ego. Ego is a big cover up for fear and insecurities and pain. It's easier to be angry than it is to be sad, Reggie. Because if you're sad, it means that, oh, I'm going to have to really feel this pain. But the problem is when you try to skip over sadness, that's something I'm only recently learning. Because I like to go to anger real quick, Reggie. I'll be honest with you. I'm a violent motherfucker. But I don't mean physically. I don't go around hitting James and nothing like that. But I just mean I feel safer in being angry because you feel power when you're angry. There's a power behind it. When you're sad, there's a helplessness with it. Mm-hmm. But what you don't understand, if you don't settle with that emotion of sadness, then you don't find, because after sadness comes you kind of asking, how do I get out of this sadness? How do I feel better? And most of us don't want to deal with that because it means being vulnerable for a moment of time. And we equate vulnerability in this current society to weakness, which is crazy to me because it takes a very brave person to go, I feel sad. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. But when you're angry, it's ego.
That's it.
Fuck them. I don't need you. I don't need anybody. I got this. Okay, ego. You out here and you in the driving seat right now, but you ain't actually really like looking a way to better yourself. You're looking to blame and shoot off your mouth.
That's it.
That's just my thoughts. You got more audio for us to trigger us. You got more audio, haven't you? God damn.
All right. So this next one is from Diamond Fierce.
Okay.
So let's see what Miss Diamond has to say.
Shit that females are going to hate me for saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I still can't believe that I let y'all talk me into bringing that intro back. But it's cool though, I'm gonna listen to my people. Anyway, watch this.
I had a man who I thought was the one because he would write me little love letters in the morning before work. Right. He would do all the sweet stuff. Mm. But he was too much of a simp. Where he's like, I would get scared of you. When you get mad, like, I'm not gonna front, I don't really like your attitude. And I'm like, yo, I'm not putting you down like a fucking piece of shit. Like, I'm mad. So I'm like, yo, I talk like this. And I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm a little mad, And he's like, nah, whoa, I don't like.
So because a man wanted you guys to have healthy boundaries and healthy communication whenever you guys are discussing something that may have upset you, that makes him a simp? Because he didn't want you to talk out of anger and just talk to him rationally, he's a simp. But then whenever y'all get these guys who don't know how to communicate at all, and they're always communicating out of anger, then you want to sit up and cry about that. Baby, the math is not mathing. And I have said this once, and I will say it again, no man wants no aggressive ass woman. If you're upset about something and you're talking with a little bit more aggression in your voice, a little bit more passion in your voice, okay. But when you just over the top aggressive, don't nobody want to deal with that. And no man wants a woman with all this aggression and masculine ass energy. And I've never understood why so many women don't understand that. Because let you detect any type of feminine energy in a man, y'all will drag him through the mud. Hell, men can't even eat certain foods or drink certain drinks at a restaurant without y'all trying to say he's feminine. But you want him to deal with that aggressive ass masculine personality that you got. Okay.
See, so listeners, this is the video that actually inspired us to even have this particular podcast episode, because Reggie posted it on TikTok and I responded. I agree with what she says. The only thing I would also add on top of what she says, to be honest, is like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing how masculine energy is bad or feminine energy is bad or too much masculine, because you know what, we as men and women, we have both within us, and one isn't weak, one isn't strong, they just are what they are. So within like, and again, if I quote this wrong, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but just the little pieces of things that I've learned in my lifetime, in an Asian culture, the whole yin and yang, right? There must be balance within us. The light, the dark, up, down, feminine, masculine. We need both. It's what keeps us balanced. Both ends of the scale have pros and cons to them. And too much of one end of the scale will cause imbalance, whether that's in a man or a woman. And it's really annoying for me to hear how a guy who is able to communicate with his emotions or is comfortable with crying or wants to is now seen as soft. Do you know what I mean? But just as equally, a woman who's independent and knows how to do what she's doing, oh, it's seen as you're too male. The fact is we both have both within us, and it's about maintaining that balance within ourselves in a healthy way, and especially when you're interacting with someone else. There's a time and a place for everything. There's a time when I'm in my, what we want to deem as masculine energy, which is the more proactive, active, hands-on, can-do type of behavior. And there's a time when I need to be in my more softer, nurturing, emotive, open energy. Because if I'm too much in one, there's no room for the other. And prime example, in my relationship with James, I predominantly would probably operate more out of the two in my more masculine energy, because I was raised predominantly more by my father. And I was a bit of a tomboy growing up, and I'm someone who can do and is very independent and can do most things by myself. But by constantly being in that, it meant that I was not open to James looking after me. I was never in my softer energy, that when I was sad, I couldn't go to him and go, I need your help. Please, can you just hold me? I couldn't do that. I would push him away, and I'd never give him the space to operate in that masculine space with me. It's only now, and we've been together for almost 20 years now, it's only now that I've learned that I can actually operate in my feminine energy. And it's just as equally as powerful, by the way, as my masculine energy. It's just as equally powerful for me to go, I don't feel okay right now. I need to cry. I'm sad. And for him to then operate in his masculine space and go, that's okay. I've got you. I'll hold you. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just as equally, when James is in his feminine energy and he feels a way about something and he's expressing something emotionally to me, it's okay for me then to then either step up, whether that's in my feminine energy or my masculine energy, to go, that's okay. I've got you. I'll hold you too. There's nothing wrong with either end. It's about maintaining a balance within yourself and making sure that's balanced when you're interacting with your partner.
Exactly.
Right? This is good, this is bad. It's bullshit. It just is what it is. Like masculine, feminine energy, do you think it has an opinion one way or the other? It just is what it is. We are all of it. And sometimes we're more in one than the other, but you can't be all in one or all in the other, because it's going to cause imbalance regardless. That's the part that I don't get. It's just how we've labeled. Oh, he's too soft, therefore he's too weak. He's too hard. Because men and women can't seem to win. If you're too hard, it's bad. If you're too soft, and just as equally for women, if you're too hard as a woman, it's bad. If you're too soft as a woman, it's bad. We just need to find balance within ourselves, as individuals.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Because it really is, like you said, Angelique said, it's about balance. And that's really what it is. Because when the lady mentioned that a man can't drink certain drinks, one of the drinks that I like, I don't drink alcohol that often, but if one of the little alcoholic drinks I like is the Italian Surfer. Mm-hmm. I had never heard of it until I went to this bar and we was having wings. And I said, you know what? I said, can I get something with cranberry, like a cranberry taste? Yeah. And the bartender said, you know what? And she was a sweet lady. She was like, you know what? I got something for you. And she came back and she said, this is an Italian Surfer. Taste it. Funny enough, the person I was with said, well, that's a feminine drink. Ugh. I'm like, it tastes good. I don't care.
Do you know James doesn't drink beer? He only drinks cocktails.
See?
This is a guy that's quite muscled out, goes to the gym, is into sports and football. But when I tell you, when we go out, he loves a pina colada, baby. Yeah. He loves a cocktail. We only drink cocktails together. Who gives a shit? Like you said, it tastes nice and that's what you want to drink, innit? Yeah. That doesn't reflect on who you are as an individual and what you're capable of.
Exactly. So it's just crazy that we have all these things in our mind that we create about people that makes us sort of prejudge them. You may end up losing out on somebody good. And like it's the same thing for men.
Preach it.
Because there could be a woman where she may have some masculine qualities. It's just about learning when do they benefit the relationship. Because sometimes it is nice to see a woman step into a little bit of her masculine side.
and take charge a little, yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee you, no guy wants a woman who's okay. Yeah. Like I like a woman with a little backbone.
Right, there we go. But this is a give and take, balance, people,
Yeah.
balance. There's a time and a place for energy when you step into the masculine or when you step back into the feminine, and one isn't weaker than the other, one isn't stronger than the other. They both have equal strengths. It takes just as much strength to operate in your feminine energy and to be open, compassionate, nurturing, just as equally as it takes strength to be brave, to lead and pioneer and take charge. They are both just as equally strong. And because of that, if you've got too much of one or the other, it can be just as detrimental that it can cause imbalance, because they are both very strong opposing forces. But when they work together, they create harmony. It's when you're operating out of balance and you've got too much of one over the other, that's when inharmony or disharmony, do you know what I mean? Discord happens. You have to find balance within yourself, people, and respect the balance of someone else's energy as well. And there's a time and a place for the relationship. There's a time when I take charge and James is happy for me to lead the way. And there's times when I'm now learning to sit back and let him do something and take care of me. And being it's such a it's so beautiful now for me to be in my feminine energy at times and to watch James take charge. And it's funny because he's like, he said to me the other day, I've just been waiting for your black ass. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I've always been able to do it. You just wouldn't allow me. You wouldn't create a space for it. And I can put my hand up and own that. I didn't create a space for it. I didn't create a space for him to be in his masculine, because you can't have both of you knocking heads, both being masculine, or both of you being overly feminine. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's a balance. So when he would step up in his masculine, that would be my time to sit and enjoy the feminine, and vice versa. There's times when I am in a more can-do attitude and he's in a more kind of open, allowing feminine space. And you flow. It's a give and take. It's not power. It's not ego, people.
I hope y'all listening.
It's compromise. It's give and take. It's listening. It's understanding, people. It's fucking egoic power play every bloody minute. It's crazy to me.
Okay, so this next one, we got two more. So this next one is from Love Samantha Lee, and she asked men, what was it? I think she was asking, what are they looking for? Let's let the clip explain it, because I forgot.
Mm-hmm. Nowadays, men are saying they want a feminine woman. Over and over again, they're asked, what is feminine? I haven't gotten a clear answer, not from a man's perspective. So last night on a live, shout out to y'all who were watching it, I asked men to define feminine. Finally, we got an answer. So here are the 12 traits of a feminine woman. Get your pen and paper ready, folks. Let's get into it. Soft, caring, loving, nurturing, supportive, submissive, understanding, peaceful, pleasant, selfless, guided by a moral compass, God-fearing, empathetic. Now, ladies, I want you to hear this with an open mind. You may not agree, or you may think it's a lot. This is what they want. And men are entitled to their preferences, just like we are entitled to ours.
I'll let you go first on this one.
It sounds to me like those are more character traits.
Yep.
Than what I would define as feminine.
Well, they're character traits of femininity. But like I just said, those are character traits you'd also want in a man, though.
Yeah, because you can also consider some of those as masculine traits.
Well, that's my point. Men and women have both masculine and female qualities in us, because that's what it means to be human. We are a mixture of both. You want a man who's open. You want a woman who's open. You want a man who's empathetic. You want a woman who's empathetic. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To say that, I just want that in a man. I just want those traits in a woman. So what, you're planning to be none of those things? You don't plan to be open with your female partner. You don't plan to be empathetic. You don't plan to be loving. You don't plan to be God-fearing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just want the woman to be all of that, yeah? All right, cool. But now that's where we get imbalance now. Because if a man doesn't know how to be open and loving, how is he going to handle when a woman goes through things if he doesn't have those traits? And just as equally, if a woman doesn't have those traits, how is she going to be able to be open and supportive of her male partner? Those are just human traits, people. But this is my point. We in society, Reggie, we love to categorize. We want to put things in boxes.
Yeah.
But by doing that, you limit it. Oh, women can only be nurturing. Men don't have that capability. Really? Okay.
See, and it's crazy because everything she listed, of course, those are things I would like in a woman. But the same thing, a woman would say the same thing. Those are the things I would like in a man. I think at some point, we have to stop looking at things as feminine and masculine and look at things as these are the qualities.
Yeah.
What qualities does this person have that's going to help me build what we want as a couple in a partnership?
Yeah.
Because if we're constantly going back between masculine and feminine, we're never going to get on the same page.
Yeah.
We'll never get on the same page. Because every time men and women have this question, it does result back into, it turns into an attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to just start limiting it to just, hey, what traits do you want? What qualities do you want in a person?
Yeah.
Because when I think of feminine, I'm thinking more of appearance.
Mm.
So like I said, yeah.
And that's the other thing, though. You made a good point, right? You just said when you think of femininity, you think of like physical traits, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like what's over 8 billion people on this planet. That means we all have different perspectives on what we believe one word means and represents to us. So, whilst for you, femininity means feminine traits, someone else thought it was character traits. There's a lot of confusion. I agree. I think we should just, when you're talking about relationship, you should really be boiling it down to what character traits and what values do I want my partner to have that match my character traits and my values, or complement, shall I say, my character traits and values?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it is. It's about complementing.
Yes.
And complementing really is another word for like compromising or kind of like, you know what I mean, fitting. Because you don't want two people that are exactly the same. You want there to be some differences so his different parts match my different parts. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's generally how I've operated. I focus on the characteristics or the characters of a person and their values. And if their outlook and their perspective on life as a whole complements my perspective and outlook on life as a whole. I try my best not to focus on, oh, that person's really masculine, that person's really feminine. Because like I said, men and women have both within us. So it's kind of irrelevant, really. It just depends on what scenario brings out what type of energy at what time. It's just knowing you can't have too much of one thing or too little of another. But yeah, those list of qualities ain't got shit to do with being a woman quality. That's just a human being quality that you should want in everyone.
Oh, there you go. You said it perfectly. Those are human being qualities.
Yeah, it's just human being qualities. That's what you should. This is what we should be teaching children, boys and girls. You should be teaching boys and girls how to be empathetic, open, can do, like independent, nurturing, self-respecting. Do you know what I mean? You should be teaching them to do both. Be just as can do, independent, hands-on as they are open, nurturing, and emotionally mature, and know how to be emotionally intelligent. Sorry. But that's the thought I was thinking of. What I feel like is happening is a lack of emotional intelligence amongst society at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like people are not emotionally mature, so we're being very reactive. We're lashing out and having temper tantrums. We're not taking responsibility for our own emotions. We're lashing out. We're pointing fingers, and therefore we're now delving into the ego and me, my, I. I just sense a lot of like a lack of emotional kind of intelligence here, to be honest.
No, you're right. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Play the last clip. Hit me with the last clip.
Okay. So the last clip comes from That's Jax.
Okay.
So she has a great story to share with us that really kind of speaks to what we've been talking about this whole time.
All right, hit me with it.
Yeah, the last video that I made had a lot of females panties in a bunch, all because I said if you have a
about her husband. Why not want to cook and clean for him? These bitches had the nerve to say he needs to pay for a maid and he needs to get Uber Eats every day. And then had the nerve to say, oh, don't give him sex all the time when he wants it. These bitches was agreeing with it all because Sprinkle Lady said it. And it's like, bitch, y'all are living in a fantasy delusional land. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's crazy. This man just pulled out in front of me, seeing me coming, and then he driving slow as hell. Oh, my Lord Jesus. Anyways, so I wanted to give y'all this scenario of 50-50 situation because a lot of y'all are real delusional and you somehow can't comprehend the words that come out of people's mouths. So I'm going to just give you a scenario. Maybe you could picture it in your head. So I was in barber school and there was a guy in barber school with me. My homegirl was in cosmetology school. They ended up meeting at a hair show, right? The vibes was there. The vibes was given. I was like, this has to be your soulmate. That's how you would think that they knew each other, but they didn't. They literally just met at that competition. So they ended up dating. Everything was going good. She didn't have her shit together. She wasn't making buku money, but that's the whole point of life. You start somewhere. So she was staying with her people. He was staying with his people. They ended up deciding, oh, you know, everything going good. We getting along, this, that, and third. They ended up moving in together. So they decided to go 50-50 and split the bills because that's what was beneficial to their relationship. So don't tell people that, oh, if he's going 50-50 with you, he doesn't love you, this, that, and third. Bitch, maybe he's going 50-50 with you at this time because he doesn't have it all together, but he do love you. You know, you have to be the gauge of that. Don't let people tell you, he's going 50-50 with you. Like, bitch, please, shut up. Anyway, so they started going 50-50. Everything was going good. They was going on trips because that money that they were saving by going 50-50, they both helping each other. She helping him save that $500. Say they rent was $1,000. He saving $500 extra. She saving $500 extra. They put that money together. Now they're able to go on trips, go out to nice fancy dinners, all types of stuff. So anyways, things were going good. Things were going smooth. We graduated school. And fast forward about 2 years later, they ended up opening up their own salon. So she opened up her own salon. He opened up his own barber studio, and it was right next door to each other. Business was booming. He started making hella money. She started making hella money. And then he became the provider that y'all be talking about. He started paying all of the bills because he loved that woman, and now he's able to afford it. Y'all don't even give people the chance to become the better version of themselves. Y'all just want people when they already at their tippity top, but y'all don't even be at your tippity top, bitch. You don't even have a goddamn, you don't pay rent, you don't pay no mortgage, you don't pay no car note, you don't even own a car, you don't even goddamn pay nobody electric bill, you just living off of other people. You can't even afford to take yourself out to eat, let alone eat McDonald's every day. That's like the scummiest of the scum, the bottom of the bottom. You can't even afford to do that for yourself every day of the week. No cooking, no none of that, just out to eat every day. You couldn't even afford that for yourself. So how dare you tell somebody, oh, all because you wear a full beat face of makeup, some heavy ass eyelashes, and an ashy ass lace. Oh, if he can't pay all my bills, I don't want him. Well, bitch, suck. Y'all, the last video that I made,
I can't lie, Reggie. She was talking, her American accent was so thick and fast. I just about managed to keep up with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, yo, where is she from? Because I am not keeping up with this. This reminds me of when me and Jim started watching The Wire for the first time all them years ago. You know the TV show The Wire?
Uh-huh.
Brother, when I tell you, I couldn't make it past episode 1 because I didn't know what no one was saying. I was like, what the hell is happening? The accents are so thick. But yeah, I managed to keep up in the end. I like what she said. Because that's the reality of what it means to be in a relationship. I love the fact that she says you don't give people time to reach their potential. You just want people that already supposedly made it to the top. When meanwhile, you yourself are just about paying your rent and you're eating like noodles every day. You know, it's like, again, as I've been stressing on this whole podcast, it's about partnership. It's about supporting each other to reach both your potential. Me and James personally, and again, this is what works for me and James. That does not mean it's the blueprint that everyone else has to operate by. It's about finding the pattern and the flow that works for each individual relationship. And I like what she said about don't let anybody else tell you nothing about your relationship. Because the fact is, even when you talk to your friends and get advice about your relationship, Reggie, you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, because at the end of the day, you are you, your partner is them, and only you two can figure out what works for you two.
Exactly.
Only you two are together and know what makes it work for you, because what works for me and James might not work for XYZ. Yeah? And vice versa. Me and James personally, we split everything. 50-50. And I mean everything. Even when we go out to dinner, everything. But that doesn't mean occasionally, sometimes I treat him and I pay for dinner, and sometimes he treats me and pays for things. But generally, I'd say 80% of what we do financially, we split it. Because that's just how it is for us. That's just how we see it. That's what works for me and him. That doesn't mean it wants to work for anyone else. you know, and that's okay. But I do love the part, mainly, I'll be honest about what she says. You're asking for a man to be providing for you and bringing how much XYZ home. Meanwhile, your ass is still living at home with your mama, or you're just about paying your rent and you're in debt and you're eating noodles every day. It is very cheeky, as we would say in England. You're being very cheeky, going, oh, I need a 6-figure man, I need an 8-figure man, but your ass is out here broke pocket, haven't progressed yourself, not even striving for nothing within yourself except trying to find a man to pay for you. That's not how it should be. And I would flip the boat. You, just as equal as a man out here not doing much for himself, but he wants a woman to pay for everything. That can't work either end of the scale. I think it's cheeky. That's what I have to say about that.
I agree, and I think she makes some really good points. And I love the scenario she gave about her friends, how they met, and it was just about two people who didn't try to feel like, oh, well, okay, if you're not making 6 figures, I can't be with you. Because a lot of people don't want to build now. They want everything ready made.
Yeah, like an IKEA package furniture.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how people want relationships. And it simply doesn't work like that. But shout out to That's Jack. She's from North Kakalaki.
She got, is that South?
That's South North Carolina.
She got that South accent. That's why she's talking a mile a minute. I was like, God damn, what's she saying?
Oh, she took me home.
I know. I do like what she said. I agree with what she said. But people forget, you are missing out on what really makes a relationship great is when you miss out that building stage. That couple that she's talking about, they got stories, they have memories of when they were both struggling, when they were both learning to barber and build their shop together. Those are memories, which is what you build your relationship on. That's the house of your relationship. That's the foundation. Like all those times, those hard times, the good times, the wins, the challenges, the trials, the tribulations. That's what a relationship is. It's just a collection of memories.
Yeah, and you know, it makes you stronger. It gives you something that really ties you together.
Right.
That's why you will find like people who play sports or who are in some type of a club that's competitive. There's normally some bond that's formed between them and the teammates. And it's the same philosophy when it comes to you and your partner when you go through things and you stick it together. And then when you do reach that level of success that you guys were both looking for, you're going to find that there's a bond there because you two understand you saw each other at each other's worst. Now you're reaping the benefits of that.
Exactly.
So people just have to understand, like, it takes time to build. I like the fact that she contradicted the Hey Fauna lady who said, like, you know, when you get to this category, now you're looking for this category of a person. That lady would have never found, or he would have never, neither one of them would have found each other if they would have had that, you know, mindset that she said of, oh, now you're success and rich, you got these different category of women, different category of men. Just because somebody is rich doesn't mean that they're going to be the best person for you.
Yeah.
So stop listening to Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and all these celebrities and influencers who's feeding you with crap. You can't listen to them.
Because like I said, money does not equate to emotional intelligence. No. Does not equate to emotional maturity or happiness, by the way, either. There's plenty of fucking depressed rich people, babes. Plenty of people, unfortunately, who are taking their life and they're wealthy because they're not happy. They're unfulfilled. They've got no connection. They've got no real bonds. And they're in a lot of pain. You know, monetary success and monetary money in your bank account does not equate to someone who's a healthy partner for you, because they could be emotionally unstable, mentally unstable, but they rich though, so it's all good. Yay, pop the bottles, dollar bills. Building a relationship is, I would say, what keeps a couple, either makes or breaks you. You either work through it and you grow together, or it breaks you down. But either way, you can't skip those steps. And thinking you can and trying to fast track it to what you deem as Instagram ready relationships is why most relationships falter, because you haven't built it on anything real and tangible. Those hard nights, those battles won, those scars are the foundation of what a relationship is built on. And if you try to skip all that because you just want to be living the best life for the gram, then you're building your relationship on quicksand. It was built on air, nothing.
Exactly.
is what I would say. But this has been really fun. Some of those, I actually feel emotionally tired because some of them audio were definitely triggering, Reggie. I have to contain a lot of rage, and now I feel tired. I feel tired from containing some of the rage.
I know. It's like just hearing some of the things people say, like even like guys, when I was setting this up, and Angelique, this was Angelique's idea. Now this was her topic, so blaming her for us being triggered.
Yeah, and you being triggered, listeners, I apologize.
But it was a great topic though, because we haven't really like dug into what other people's thoughts and ideas about relationships. So I really like this idea of doing this and us being able to comment on it.
We should do that more often. We made that a thing, Reggie.
Huh?
I said we should do this more often, make it a thing, you know, like whatever topic we're thinking about, trying to find some audio to back it and then make it a discussion point. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. What do you know, listeners? What do you think, listeners? Let you know. Did you like this format? Did you like it? Let us know.
Yeah. Please, y'all let us know everything else.
I know.
Angelique and Melissa. Angelique and Melissa. It's Angelique and Melissa. Y'all quick to let me know that.
They are, and I thank you for it. Keep hassling because it's just funny. Poor Reggie. But yeah, let us know, listeners. Did you like this format where we play audio and then we comment back and forth? I liked it, but maybe let's find some less triggering ones for the next one because I'm emotionally wrecked right now.
I'm going to take a nap myself or get a
burger.
No,
one of the two. Do both in that order. Get the nap, then the burger, Reggie. And then you're probably going to need another nap after the burger. But it's okay. It's Sunday. That's what it's for.
That's right. That's exactly what it's for.
Guys, I hope you all enjoyed this. It's been so good to be back on your airwaves, in your ear, bugging the crap out of you with our very opinionated selves. But this is what we do, and you chose to tune in. Ha ha, suckers. So, Reggie, absolute pleasure, man. As always.
As always, we definitely got to do this again.
Yes, we will.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be ready for another episode next week, and we will catch y'all later.
On the flip side, people. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week's episode of the Simply Straight Talk podcast. Be sure to sign up to our email list at simplystraighttalk.com and follow us in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss our next episode. Wishing you a wonderful day from the Simply Straight Talk crew.
I believe in me.
I believe in me.
I believe in you.
I believe in you.
Stand strong. You are powerful.
Stand strong. You are inspiring.
We are fighters. We are ambitious.
We are extraordinary. We are conquerors. Simply Straight Talk, our voices will be heard.
This is Simply Straight Talk. Tune in now, you don't want to miss out. Real conversations, plenty motivation. Keep you thinking and still entertaining. Yeah, I know that you'll enjoy the mottos. Free your voice, it's your choice. Hosted by Reggie B, but you already know. And you gotta check them out and how we roll. Hey, ain't nothing off the table. Give it to you straight. Changing your mindset, talking past mistakes. You ain't gotta wait, time to take off. This is Simply Straight Talk.